He was.
Owen Hart didn't do it right.
No.
He broke Steve Austin's
Jesus
neck.
Christ, he fell from the rafters.
Rest in peace,
He fell
Owen.
from the. That was a different neck move.
That's dedication.
It didn't go well. It didn't go well. God,
You think Vince was involved in that? No, tonight, Owen. Tonight. I'm fucking
Why
shocked.
is it always natty ice?
It was so bad.
Always.
It's like just when natural beer isn't strong enough, I have to get natty ice.
I used to work with a guy at the fucking
Natty Ice. We
right?
can't say their name. Good job.
Yeah. I can, you can block. So
That was a guy from there. I'll block his name also.
yes, yeah. No. Fuck. You got a lot of beeping to do. Welcome to the Sofa Kingdom podcast with your host Nelson.
And my name's Ian.
And
We are here today, and we are delving into some new high-tech shit and some really great animated shorts that Ian has put us on to.
Yes. I'm also not a complainer, but my headset's dead. It's all right.
So we started playing the Meta Quest. Eddie's had one for a little while now, and he introduced me to it. He's like, you got to try this. And at first I was a little skeptical because I've wanted to love VR for quite some time. But every time I try VR, I immediately get nauseous.
Better.
Yeah. So like within like the first 5 to 10 minutes, I'm just getting nauseous with VR. It wasn't, the frame rate wasn't fast enough or something like that. Something wasn't connecting with me and the system.
Latency,
So what you're saying, if
the
they have
frame rate,
they have a Tekken for MetaQuest, I can beat you in it because you get nauseous.
Yeah, probably. But this system, the augmented reality, is a fantastic dive into the VR. And I've actually been able to spend a little more time in VR because of the augmented reality, which is what we had you play earlier today.
It was pretty crazy, you know. Some aliens started breaking through his walls and roof, and I mean, it you know. I was telling them, they say that there's a Resident Evil already out for the MetaQuest, but I'm not. If there's a Silent Hill or Resident Evil in the MetaQuest, you can keep that shit.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want anything to do with that.
They have haptic feedback vests as well.
Why?
So you can get the
So you
headphones.
can feel the zombie munching on you? Fuck
Yeah,
that. No,
bro.
we're good. We're good.
It's only the first start. What was the name of that movie? Ready Player One?
Yep.
Where they had the whole suit, people on treadmills and shit like
So
that.
they're gonna have like a way that it kills you.
You can get a treadmill. They're $1,000 for one of the Omni treadmills.
Really?
Yeah, you can get
Where
one.
it spins.
Well,
Oh, fuck that.
There's one where
I want one
there's
now.
one.
You play so many video games, you're like ripped.
I so
you're
want
ripped
one
as
now.
fuck.
That's it. I'm done.
The one you could get right now, that you could get for home use. It's like $1,000. It has a harness that you kind of put on, and you wear special shoes, and you walk on it. And the shoes kind of have like wheels on them, and you just it
No
kind of holds you up
shit.
as you're walking.
Do you know how much running you'd have to do in Gears of War?
But the treadmill,
Shit
to get away from the floor.
spot to spot.
the
spot to
treadmill
spot.
in Ready Player One is real. They do have that actual treadmill.
Interesting. I did not know
It's
that.
it's a commercial use product right now.
I've seen setups where like you're harnessed in.
Yes.
Yes. You're running in place, but like you don't have to worry about banging in the shit.
I
Kids
think-
today are so fucking greedy. Do you remember the best thing we had growing up?
Duck Hunt.
No. The Duck Hunt, yes. That was innovative. The Power Glove.
Yeah.
It was the fucking Nintendo Power
And
Glove
it was
when it came out.
trash.
You could get electrocuted with the Nintendo Power Glove if you sweat
Hey
in
man,
it enough.
You got to take a risk if you want to fly.
Do you remember virtual reality from Nintendo?
Yeah.
If you put it on and you took it off, you saw the only color that you saw was red for the next 20 minutes. Like, it fucked with you.
The Virtual Boy, if you played for too long, because the screen was only red. Yes. It literally fucked with your vision for a while.
That's great.
You're like, maybe should have play tested that a little more. I don't know.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Power Glove. They didn't anticipate that people would use these things for hours and hours and hours, sweat through the peripheral, and then fucking electrocute themselves. So it's fucking hilarious to me that, like, you know, it's like
Why would you risk this?
exactly. But live and learn. So VR has come a long, long way.
Yeah.
I'm starting to dive back into it now because I finally feel like I can legitimately play for like 30 minutes
The future looked good.
and then be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the augmented reality, that's really where you start. where it's adding things to the world you see, so you're still seeing the world around you because the pass through is so clear enough that it doesn't give you any weird motion sickness issues. So then you move on to VR where you're standing still and things are happening around you.
It's only a matter of time for these Japanese hentai games get a hold of it.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
They're already there. If you go to Steam, they have a VR section. And so even with this headset, which is standalone, and you can just buy stuff off the Meta Store, you can sideload games. There's an app store that's all VR games, and you sideload them onto it. But also Steam has VR games, so you can take that headset, buy the cable, and plug it to the PC, and any PC VR game will play through the headset instead.
Oh wow,
nice. So like as far as fantasy games are concerned, have you played any of the fantasy games on there?
I haven't yet. So I started with just the augmented reality, and then I've been doing a rock climbing game, which is virtual. So you are moving around in that, but you're moving kind of slowly.
Interesting.
So you're not having jarring when you fall. Oops. But otherwise, it's not like jarring movement where you're moving around a lot.
Yes.
Where you end up getting motion sick. So
they probably have Skyrim on it, right? I mean,
I already have Skyrim.
I was about to say that seems like they poured it on everything.
Okay, but here's the problem. Go ahead. I'll let you finish.
I had got Skyrim and Fallout 4 because it was on sale for like $2 a piece.
Fuck that! I'm not having what are they, ghouls flying at me? Ferals? Hell no.
So like I've been sitting on those for like 6 months when they went on like a clearance sale on Steam.
$2?
Yeah, it was like $2
for Skyrim.
It was the thing where like,
dude, it's been out for 50 years.
I mean, but still,
yeah. It was Fallout 1, 2, Tactics, Vegas, Skyrim. In VR, Fallout in VR, and it was like a big sale where it was like $2 a piece if you get X number of games. Like, I'll take all of these.
There's no shame in buying Skyrim. I've bought Skyrim in my life at least 8 times. Oh, yeah. I'm not kidding. Like,
no, I agree because
I sell it and then I walk by like a discount thing and I look over and go, oh,
I need this.
There's Skyrim again.
I need this in my life.
Why the fuck not?
I need this in my life.
I probably paid $500 for Skyrim in my life.
The problem for me
over and over again.
I have to build up to Skyrim. Is because when you get into Skyrim, you're playing for hours. Hey, no, you're playing for hours.
Spell in your left hand.
What am I going to do? Just sweat and puke and keep the VR helmet on?
Stay hydrated. Get yourself a backpack with Pedialyte.
What they've said is one, a fan actually overhead and a rug under you helps you locate where you are in the room mentally. So if you start walking off the little rug, you're like, oh, I know where I'm at in the room.
Okay.
And also the fan overhead helps.
Right.
But they also, when you start feeling nauseous, stop.
Right.
Like, don't push through it because it's going to actually just get worse and it's going to make it harder for you to get over it. It's better like once you feel it coming on, stop. 20 minutes, rest, maybe come back the next day, depending on how you feel.
That's cowardice talking.
Yeah. No, you push through it.
You need to push the
You puke in your pocket, and you keep going.
You puke and then swallow it again and keep going.
Which makes sense because when you get onto the Flight of the Avatar, Disney, it's a virtual reality simulator.
My favorite ride ever.
Yeah, it's amazing. You sit in it, and there is a point at which your air is blowing in your face. It's already cold in the room.
You could smell the sea.
And you can
smell that fucking ocean.
You get a sprinkle of water in your face.
Yeah.
And it's only like maybe an 8-minute duration, if that. Like
it was the greatest ride I've ever been on.
It's amazing. That ride is fantastic. My number 2 of all time, right now, it is still Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah. It is that fucking good. And
Which
then 3 is Rise of the Resistance. Yeah. It's an actual roller coaster taken just to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Like it took like parts of like Space Mountain, aspects of there. It's taken parts of like Rise of the Resistance and brought that in. It's taken parts of the best roller coaster experiences because some of them like Rise of the Resistance is a roller coaster, but it's also an experience.
Yes.
Because there's actors, they walk you through, they talk shit to you, like you're going from room to room, you're in this and right. So it's
like Rise of the Resistance. It's a fantastic ride. We took our dad on it. He was fine.
Yeah.
So like it's a ride, yes, but it's more than just the ride. It's almost like a show.
Yes.
While you're doing the ride.
Yeah.
So it's like a 10, 15 minute long experience.
Yeah.
Depending on what goes on, because they take you and they walk you through the thing, and the guards are rude. They push you in a cell, then they break you out of the cell. It's a whole thing.
My aunt got mad because one of the ladies, she turns to me, she's like, she's being so fucking rude to me. Like saying it out loud, like so she can hear it. She's like, how dare she talk to me like that? I'm like, it's part of the show. you're a prisoner, Cindy. They're talking trash to you. And she's like, oh, okay. Oh, great. Okay. Carry on, right? But she had it, like when you're saying something loud enough for that asshole to hear you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can't believe how rude she is. I'm like, Cindy, it's part of the show.
Cindy, you're a rebel prisoner.
Yeah. And
You're lucky.
Act like one.
You're lucky they didn't shoot you.
Yeah, they could have tasered you right now.
Exactly.
the Guardians also, when it's the full ride, it's very similar to that. It's a little more ride than show, but it's very much a lot of a show on top of it.
Whereas the Star Wars one is all show.
It's almost all show.
Yeah. I would say like half and half, right?
Yeah, you're on a ride, but I mean, you could jog at speed if you wanted to.
Check this
it's
out,
not
gentlemen.
going fast. It's just very interesting, but what's
Coquito?
going on?
No. This is not coquito. This is called tembliki.
This is some other Puerto Rican magic.
This is a Puerto Rican dessert.
Okay.
But the VR has come.
It's safe for whites?
It's safe for whites.
yes.
Yes. It's
come
Goya.
quite
It's
far.
Goya based.
I'm not Jewish.
It's Goya based, bro. It's Goya based. So you know it's safe for whites.
Oh, yeah, okay, good.
All right.
Oh my God, what'd you seal this with?
Love.
Okay.
Okay, I'm glad I wasn't the only one fighting to get the
Dude, what the hell?
the top off.
You know what it is?
What spell did you use?
You put it in really hot, put it in the fridge, and that probably helps vacuum seal
Well,
it.
technically,
Get
the
some Coke
way
down here.
the way it should work is that seal should stay stuck if you actually cooked it like if you're like cooking food long term, that seal should stay stuck without that ring, and that means that you actually cook the food thoroughly to kill whatever's
Yeah, what's in this?
in there.
Coconut flakes, cinnamon. It's just like a
Okay. Whatever you can find on the island.
basically.
Got it.
Yeah. So it's like a Puerto Rican treat. I like to make these during the
Holiday season?
holiday season. Well, I should say Hispanic treat. But pretty good, right?
My dad used to like to make mixed drinks and hit his kids.
Yeah. I mean, to each their own.
We all celebrate in different
We all
ways.
celebrate differently. Beating the kids.
Remember Christmas Shay? Bob and weave. Bob and weave.
Okay. All right. Let's talk real quick. We'll come back to virtual reality. But for the holiday season, right? What is the most ridiculous? And it doesn't have to even be your family's. Like you so quaintly and eloquently said, like, "Hey, my father likes to drink and beat us." That's our holiday tradition.
Dodge Dad's fist. That's my favorite holiday game.
The worst holiday tradition I've ever heard, and I can't remember if it was a TV show, a movie, or an actual person. So I'm just gonna say that and throw it out there. But when I heard it, I never forgot it. And the idea was that every Christmas, they would go in the attic, like Christmas Eve, wrap the gifts, come back down, give them to the kids. They could play with their gifts for Christmas. At the end of Christmas Day, the gifts got taken back away and put back in the attic so that next year they can reopen these gifts to play with them on Christmas Day. Again, I don't know if it was a person, a TV show, a movie, but either way, that is the most fucked up way to have a Christmas.
I don't know if I know anyone that poor. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to search the database.
I mean, like if it's the antique train set, maybe. You know, like maybe like
No, but there was no other
train
gift.
set on Christmas.
There was no other gift. That was it. That's what you're getting on Christmas Day.
That's not a gift.
How do you have an attic? That's like Christmas if you live in like a fucking trailer. Like
I've also come to this realization.
7 people in a trailer. Like,
All fucked up people have an attic you can walk in or a basement. Right? Every Unabomber, every serial killer, every murderer, they always have an attic, a shed, or a basement.
yeah, if you have a basement in Florida, you're a doomsday prepper.
Yes.
Like it's a bunker.
So what about you guys? Any fucked up or weird Christmas traditions that you know about?
I mean, nothing that tops that. Nothing that tops the fucking one Christmas gift your whole life. I mean, that's pretty bad. I don't know.
That's
Yeah.
that's pretty weird.
Yeah,
That's pretty weird, right? That's pretty weird.
that's like no. I'd be getting out of that family as soon as I fucking could.
What about this? When do you put up your tree? Traditionally.
I mean, I think anything after December 1st is fair game. But I'm more strict on the fact of like take it down before New Year's.
Yes. So I do.
I've always bought into like the fucking juju of like if you leave it up past like January 1st, then like
It comes back.
well
like,
the bad juju from the previous year follows you.
interesting.
I've always bought into that.
I've
But
never
also,
heard that one.
Also, like most white people that hail from the north, I eat sauerkraut and pork for the new year because that's supposed to be good luck. Now, what it really does is make you shit your pants.
Yes.
But But it's also
it's
supposed
a
to be
practical joke that's carried on for the centuries.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I guess in the year 1200, a bunch of Germans and Northern Europeans got together and said, "We make them shit their pants."
Yes.
First meal of New Year's, and then everyone just bought into it.
yeah, putting it up, it's anytime basically after Thanksgiving.
Yeah. I typically like the day after Thanksgiving.
Oh wow.
But
Yeah.
taking it down, I'm in no big rush.
Yeah.
I'm like, hurry up, no, not really. I'll take it down when I get a free day.
Yeah, me too. It's usually mid-January.
Do you know when they take it down in New York? When's the big Rockefeller tree come down?
Ooh, I don't know.
I was gonna say the only reason I ask is I'm thinking of taking a train when I go up to Pennsylvania this year.
Yeah.
Go take a look.
It's only a 2.5 hour train ride from where I'm at, so I was thinking of doing that and taking a look at the tree.
And Times Square, right?
Yeah.
When does the Times Square
Tree come down?
Yeah, the Rockefeller Center.
Yeah,
tree.
Rockefeller Center tree.
Okay.
Never seen it. Lived up there most of my life. Never seen it.
Yeah, never went in person.
Mid-January. So I'm on par
I
with
got plenty of time.
the Rockefeller tree as to
Yeah.
when to put it up and when to take it down.
Nice.
Now, as far as traditions are concerned, I typically like to do the rice pudding, the coquito, and some tembliki during the holidays. Christmas tree up day after Thanksgiving is what I traditionally like to do.
No Jack Daniels and chasing your family.
No, I can't say.
My house only. All right.
Can't
cool.
say that I do that. Can't
All
say
right.
that I do that. But what about you? Any other traditions that you carry on besides pork? And I mean, see, that
It's more
sounds
of a-
common to you, but odd to us. We
Yeah.
never.
No, it's more of a New Year's thing. Like it was always the first meal of the new year. Like on New Year's Day, you have sauerkraut and pork. I don't know why.
We
but-
typically did like steak and eggs. Like,
Okay.
Yeah.
for New Year's.
Yeah. That sounds less shit your pants. I like that idea.
But that was
You know?
because we used to go to this family resort,
Daniels
Daniel's, and that was their traditional like,
in Pennsylvania.
which was smart because they probably thought everybody's getting hammered. Let's give them steak and eggs
1 a.m.
at 1 a.m. so that they're not really completely fucked up the next day. 'Cause, you know, it does
Eggs,
make sense
grease,
now thinking about it.
all the foods that would typically be considered bad are actually good for a hangover. You want
Right.
carbs, you want fat, you want meat, you want protein. So all all
Well-
the breakfast foods are actually really good on a list
There's
of
a lot
things
of
to help.
There's a lot of studies out there now that are saying that a lot of the foods that like what everyone says were bad for us is not as bad.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of studies now on like butter.
Oh, you mean
and meat and
the food we ate for hundreds of thousands of years isn't wrong?
Right.
Surprise?
You mean
Yeah.
that the food pyramid was wrong?
Oops.
yeah.
The food pyramid, I believe, would tell us to eat like 6 boxes of cereal a day.
So much grains.
They're like so much grains.
And you wonder why everyone's fat. We're eating hundreds of grams of
Yes,
carbohydrates
just
a day.
Grains and sugar. They're like, it's okay.
You mean-
Six times a day you should have frosted mini wheats.
The
Right.
food pyramid made by that weird sexual deviant that made cornflakes was wrong.
What?
Oh no! Who would have guessed?
Speaking of crazy rumors like that, right? And I know
My-
we're all over the place, but go ahead, go ahead.
My food pyramid is just like a pile of meat with like some fats sprinkled on top of it.
Does anyone know if it's true that Ren and Stimpy, the reason why I got taken off the air is because they found out that the writer of the brother, so there was a writer for the show,
Right.
and they said that his brother was in an insane asylum writing the show and giving it to his brother to put on Nickelodeon.
Wouldn't put it past me because the actual Nickelodeon one, even though it pushed the boundaries for a children's show, they
Yeah.
later made another Ren and Stimpy that was more
Yes.
geared towards adults.
Right.
Which is fucked up because online you always see like a clip that's posted from the adult show.
Yes.
That they'll be like, oh my God, how the hell was this allowed on children's That's the different show. Like there's one particular scene where like there's a log on Stimpy's butt.
Yes.
And like Ren is like thrusting and sawing the log. And people are like, how in the fuck was this allowed to be on Nickelodeon? That wasn't. That's the adult one. And like, because I would have noticed that instantly. Even as an 8-year-old, I'd have been like, what the fuck? Like, hold on.
But that's not the first time that's been done. I think it's a comic book, and the writer has like his 5-year-old brother or something like that come up with stories, and then he just fills it out, and that's how he makes the comic, and
That
it's
was-
all weird shit.
Ren and Stimpy was on the list of shows. Like my mother was very open minded when it came. Like I watched I love my mom's choices because my mom would have me watching lots of sword and sorcery shit.
Yeah.
Like I watched Conan the Barbarian and Legend and Lady Hawk and Beastmaster and all this shit. Like Willow.
Yeah.
Like these were the movies my mom showed me, and she
Right.
had me reading Tolkien and Redwall and the Shannara books and all this shit she got me started on. But there was a list of things Ian was not allowed to watch.
And Ren and Stimpy was on it.
It was Ren and Stimpy.
Beavis and
It was
Butthead.
Beavis and Butthead.
Yes.
It was,
Hold on. Wait. Let us guess.
Okay,
Let us guess. Three more
hold on. Wait. Let me think. There's definitely 2 more. And
cartoons, right?
yeah, they're all cartoons.
Ren and Stimpy, Beavis and Butthead.
Mm-hmm.
What were our other fucked up one? Eon Flux.
No, believe it or not, she didn't know about that one. I could see that late at night.
That was a fucking cartoon.
That was a weird one, dude.
Yes.
I think that one scene where like the dude starts like sucking on her feet at one point. I was like, bro, that's what did it. Maybe I was a kid and like I saw that and I was like, it's like the DNA synopsis just started and I was like, foot fetish.
Yes.
And that was it. And now here I am.
The Simpsons.
3.
Okay, all right, because we got to think back then. Because remember when
those 3. Bart talked terrible to his parents.
Yep.
I caramba, eat my shorts.
Eat my shorts.
Yeah.
They had the shirts. Remember, like, don't have a cow.
Yeah, I wasn't allowed to watch.
South Park.
Boom.
Oh,
Boom.
hey.
Well done.
We got this.
I
shit.
was not allowed to watch any of those 4. Oof. Like my mom was very. She would see them or hear them on, and she was like, "No,
Nah, I don't like that shit.
And there was nothing wrong with Beavis and Butthead.
Yes.
You know?
Okay, do you guys remember
Shut up, dumbass.
the infomercials?
Casey's mom didn't care. We watched Beavis and Butthead.
everything. We watched
It was so good.
Do you remember the infomercials in Ren and Stimpy?
Oh yeah.
It's long,
It's long, it's big, it's heavy as wood. It's long, it's better than bad as wood. All right, how about
we turned out okay?
Yes. All right, how about don't whiz on the electric fence?
Yes.
That cartoon was so good.
I just breathed
It
it.
was so good, man. It was such a good show.
God damn it.
Yeah,
The
look-
things that shaped our life.
The episode that was the most fucked up that I remember growing up as a child was the one where they were fighting over eating space soap. When they were in space.
They're in the spaceship. Yeah.
They're in the spaceship, and Ren just kept eating soap. It was fucking weird.
Those cartoons shaped us. They fucking
Space
shaped us.
madness.
Space madness, yeah.
You remember when Chef, who was actually played by, oh my God, what the hell was his name? He's dead now.
I know you're talking.
Morgan
Hayes,
Freeman.
Hayes.
Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
Elijah Hayes?
Morgan Freeman.
No, it wasn't Morgan Freeman. The chef.
Oh,
He was a singer.
He was a singer.
Something Hayes.
Was it
It wasn't Barry White.
White? Oh, okay. Let's see.
But he was
I'll look it up.
Who played Chef?
Keep talking.
But he had those
is
the candy balls he made.
Yeah.
And he was singing that.
salty chocolate
Yeah,
nuts.
suck on my chocolate salty balls.
Yes.
I was like, dude, he performed that at like the MTV
Isaac
movie.
Hayes.
Isaac
Hayes.
He performed that at the MTV Movie
Yep.
Awards. I was like,
Oh,
what?
man, that's
he got
so
on,
good.
He played a piano and sang "Suck on My Chocolate Salty
That's
Balls."
so fucking good.
Those
They
cartoons
killed
were
him
legendary.
off. They had killed him off because
Well, he had health problems, and then he
Yeah.
literally died.
Well,
Yeah.
even I think it was him, right?
Yeah,
That
they retired his character because they didn't want to continue it out in respect to him. Like,
Yeah.
That's
So-
the one thing. Trey Parker and Matt Stone are assholes.
Yes.
But they are loyal. Like,
Yes.
and they do stay true to shit. Like when you tell them not to do something, they are going to do it.
You know what? You know what else disappeared though that we had growing up, and sticking on the concept of cartoons.
Yes.
Looney Tunes is gone. I
Yeah,
don't
pretty
see
much.
Oh yeah.
it anywhere.
If you
Well-
watch some of the shit that was on there, it
was fucked
It's
up.
not gonna make it.
good
to-
It was
luck.
fucked
Good
up.
luck for any Saturday morning cartoons or any of that stuff. But I mean, they were written in a way where the kids didn't get the adult jokes, but the adults did.
Oh yeah.
right.
Which good luck trying to do that. It's a little bit of a difficult tightrope to watch.
I mean, Pepe Le Pew
Sure.
was a racist. Straight
Pepper-
up. Or not a
Pe-
racist.
No,
a
a rapist.
Rapist.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
I was a racist.
He was a racist.
A racist watching a rapist. No.
Pepe is
He's gone. He's gone.
Well,
yeah,
you
they got
can't-
rid of him.
He was in Space Jam.
Okay, yeah. Oh, the first one.
The first one.
The first one.
He
After
didn't come
that,
back for. Even he didn't come back for the
he
second
wasn't in the really, really good Space Jam though. With LeBron James and Jesus Christ, it was so.
No,
bad.
I don't. I think we have.
So
I think.
bad.
I think LeBron recently deleted his social media. I think. I think we haven't seen the full backlash of his Diddy parties.
Oh, so
Because he once said, and I quote, "There ain't no party like a Diddy party." What did you mean, LeBron?
oh,
I mean,
you're fucked up.
what did
bro.
you mean?
I mean, he always went back and forth with things. I mean, look at how much he bends over backwards for China, but then you see all the stuff that China's doing, but that's just because he gets money from there.
Sure.
Because
Yeah.
basketball is big there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's not
It's like
pretend that
stand-
LeBron's a good person.
You stand on your principles until it hurts your wallet,
Yep.
and then all of a sudden you're like, hey, I like you guys.
Then 2
Yeah.
weeks later, you're John Cena apologizing in Chinese
Yeah,
for the Worldwide Wrestling Federation.
that's right.
Who was another?
Yep.
Wow. Did you see that documentary with Vince McMahon yet?
I did, yeah.
Dude, what a piece of shit he was.
Yeah, and I think it's a double-edged sword
Evil
because like,
genius.
well,
Yes.
he's one of Vince McMahon, Dana White, like all these guys are like some of the greatest promoters, marketers ever. Like they built empires because of their personalities. But at the same time, like when you're that driven by work and shit, like you're gonna have some fallout. Yeah. And I think because of it, he was a monster. He was so used to success and so used to like this
getting his way.
This world of theater and all this shit he was in. And look at who he's working with. He's working with these like a lot of those chicks are hot as shit. They're in great shape, and like he's supposed to be on this podium. He took advantage of it.
Oh yeah,
but he did do good things. I mean, like the one guy said, he got my wife full medical coverage. Paid, like she's a cancer survivor because of Vince McMahon.
Sure.
True, he did good things. On the other end of the coin, he was a fucking monster.
Yep.
Yes.
So and like literally took advantage of young girls and made them sex slaves essentially.
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar, I mean, fuck.
He jumped in on there too.
They're cutting full ties with him. I mean, you know, we didn't know the whole time he was married to Sable. He was
doing some
utilizing Vince's sex
services.
trade, so to say.
Yep. Oh yeah.
And we had no idea. We had no idea what was going on.
It just for the Christmas spirit. That's what he was doing it for. He was a holiday man. He was
the professional wrestling. Listen, professional wrestling is a wild business.
Sketchy.
It's
always
wild
been
business.
sketchy. Yeah.
It's not PG. It never has been. I mean, it's literally it's fueled on the pain of the athletes. Like they're all on drugs. They all have families that collapse because they're on the road 365 days a year.
Yeah.
It's not a good. It's not It's
not
like the fucking
a good
circus.
thing.
It's not good.
It is. It's like when you're watching the show, the art for the art. It's fantastic, right?
Right.
It's great. It's a male soap opera, if you will, right?
Yeah.
But behind the scenes, what it takes to run it, what that machine needs to feed it, is dark.
Yeah.
And what they're gonna do is they're gonna protect their stars at all costs.
Yeah.
They were saying that Superfly Jimmy Snuka, he was like at the height of his career.
Legit murderer.
Legitly murdered a person, and they kept him on the show.
It was covered up.
And they covered it up.
Yes, because it was the best thing to do for business.
That's fucking wild to me.
Yeah.
Right.
Jake the Snake Roberts, his father, no laughing matter,
Oh, yeah.
was a crazy pedophile.
Yeah.
He would go from town to town, but here's the other part of it. Parents would bring their kids and drop them off to this wrestler
Yeah.
Yeah.
and go.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of a shitty parent are you? I don't care what age we're in. I don't care.
Similar to Michael Jackson.
Yes,
I
exactly.
don't give a shit if he is the king of pop. My kid is not sleeping over at your house.
No.
You are a
there's-
demon clown.
There's no reason
no.
for an adult and a child to be sleeping over together.
Absolutely not, no matter how famous they are. And see that this is the shit. This is the shit we get in.
Yeah, it's
One thing I realized, this was from like not only the documentary, but actually watching old wrestling tapes. And I'm going to say this might be controversial. Hulk Hogan was never a good wrestler. I know a lot of people in Tampa. A lot of people in Tampa are going to hate me for that. Listen, he's an over-the-top caricature.
Yes.
I love his personality. You could
Yes.
argue that he's one of the most, if not the most important professional wrestler of all time.
sure.
Yeah.
Technically,
Agreed. A shit.
not a good
wrestler.
wrestler.
I have to agree.
I can name Chris Benoit, Bret Hart, Ric Flair, The Undertaker, John Cena, The Rock,
Rey
Stone Cold Steve
Mysterio.
Austin, Rey Mysterio.
Yes.
All of them, Mick Foley, all of them much better. Macho Man Randy Savage, Ultimate Warrior. Well, maybe the Ultimate Warrior, but much better wrestlers.
yes, but here was the thing.
His whole shtick was like hulking out, and like
Yes.
his
Yes.
moves weren't even the leg drop.
At the time,
What?
At the time, he was the best character actor. He had a physical presence. He was charismatic.
Yes, he told
and
he told kids to eat vegetables and say your prayers
take-
the whole
eat your-
time.
eat your vegetables and take your vitamins.
Doing thousands of dollars of anabolic steroids. Thousands of
One
dollars.
day, you'll look like me.
Right. Say your prayers, little guys.
Say
Like,
prayer.
it's like I can see the track march, sir.
At least, Macho Man Randy Savage didn't feed us bullshit. He's like, snap into a Slim Jim.
Right.
He didn't say it was good. He didn't say it was good for you. He just said, snap into it. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
Macho Man was a much better wrestler than
Any of those wrestlers from that era, if you watch it compared to now, are pretty awful.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, like when you're watching, none of it, if you know anything about fighting, is convincing.
Oh
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
The matches of today, a lot have gotten better. Like the one I watched between Cody Rhodes, the last WrestleMania I watched.
Yes.
Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins against The Rock and
Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns.
Yep.
Amazing match.
Yes.
Amazing match. Technically, physically, it was. The best matches you'd see from the old days were like between like the Macho Man and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, or
Right.
like Ric Flair and Ricky the Dragon
but-
Steamboat. Like you saw like crazy.
There were a few. Bret the Hitman Hart was amazing in the
Yeah.
ring, but
Yeah.
he was more of a legitimate,
Yeah.
technical wrestler. So when you put him in the ring with like Shawn Michaels, who's a showman.
Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart put on some of the best matches in pro wrestling history.
Didn't they have like those Iron Man matches where they wrestled
an
for
hour
like
long.
an hour?
Yep.
Easily.
It's fucking crazy.
And Shawn Michaels could sell something like you would not believe. If you hit him with your move,
yes,
he had no problem selling.
Yes.
He would launch his fucking body out of the ring, cause himself literal injuries because you hit him with a move.
Yeah.
Yes.
He would flip over the fucking rope and land on his neck. I'm like, dude.
Yes. Okay.
Like, thanks, but holy shit.
Okay, so here's another shitty wrestler. Maybe a little controversial.
Go ahead.
The Undertaker. What was his best move? Putting his hand in your neck, lifting you up and slamming you. He at
least walked on the tightrope.
He did that, so that was athletic for a big man. The tombstone had to be stopped because it was actually hurting people.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
He did a good job of cradling you, though.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
I mean,
He was
Owen Hart didn't do it right.
No,
Because he broke Steve Austin's
Jesus
neck.
Christ, he fell from the rafters.
Rest in peace,
He
Owen.
fell from that was a different neck move.
That's dedication.
It didn't go well. It didn't go well. God,
You
damn.
think Vince was involved in that? No, tonight, Owen. Tonight. I need you to fall 50 feet.
Speaking of the Owen Hart thing, and right, were they right to continue the show, or should they have stopped the show, knowing he died on the spot?
He died just earlier, and then the Undertaker had to go out and wrestle afterwards.
The blood was still in
there.
the fucking ring for the rest of the night.
They didn't clean it.
So do you think no, Eddie? Do you
no.
think they were right? Continue the show, sold out stadium, everyone's there. They came from all over the world to watch this. Someone dies in a freak accident in the show
They stopped an NFL game
for a football player that
for
died.
a guy that went into cardiac arrest. Yes,
Now the thing is,
with the Bills.
would they have stopped that game if this wrestling accident hadn't happened a couple years earlier and the criticism they had got?
Don't know.
Because that was
Good
the
point.
first time where something that bad had happened.
Right.
There wasn't something before to look at and say this is how we approach this.
I was
next
actually
time.
I was shocked they stopped the game, but they legitimately stopped the game, which messed up the whole like season progression.
Sure.
Like the NFL is a billion. I mean,
Yep.
it's bigger than WWE.
Yeah,
The
no,
NFL is huge.
But they had to look at the example before them,
Yeah.
I would say, and say, well, they made the wrong move. Because what's the moniker that it's the show must go on.
Yeah.
Right.
Right?
Correct.
That's always been the thing for show business. The show must go on. And I just thought pretty distasteful in this situation where like they were saying like when you watch the interviews, like I think it was Double J, Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm trying not to cry while delivering a promo of how I'm going to kick some other wrestler's ass. He's like, me walking off in disgust was real.
Yeah.
The girl next to him that was standing there with him, like, was like nearly bawling, and he's trying to deliver a promo, and he's just like, fuck, and just like walks off, and then still had to go in the ring and fucking perform.
Right. It's nuts. It's nuts.
Hey, because there's behind the scenes footage of who was it? It was Ultimate Warrior.
Yes.
Where like Vince is giving him shit because word had got back to him that he was shitty to a kid at an airport.
Mm-hmm.
So he's making him deliver an apology to the kid. So he's trying to record the video, and Ultimate Warrior is being like shitty about it. Like, I don't get it. I didn't do anything wrong. And he's like, well, you got called by Undertaker.
Right.
And he's kind of the king of that kingdom when it comes to the law of who was right and wrong.
Yeah.
Yes.
You did it in front of him. He's saying you did it. So Vince is like, nah, you did it.
Yes.
You're recording a fucking apology.
Yes.
And we're going to air this to come next day. So it's like you get those stories, but then it's like, yeah, this guy just died. And what's Vince probably doing in the background? Go
out
sell.
there.
Go sell.
out there.
Yeah. Double-edged sword. But that's what happens when you're the boss, man.
I guess.
You know what I mean? Well, they used to say even like the Road Warriors,
Yeah.
Yep.
right? That it got to a point like they were just regular weightlifting guys at first. And then they taught them how to wrestle. You know, they weren't the greatest of wrestlers.
That's what the Ultimate Warrior was. He was a bodybuilder.
Yeah, they weren't the greatest of wrestlers, but they needed people with physiques at this time. Is what they were really looking for.
Vince was always big on that.
Yeah, and I don't remember if it was Hawk or Animal
Hawk was the bigger one.
that got into the drinking and drugs.
Oh, probably both of them.
And he got so bad that like they sent him out to fight. Fucked. Like everybody in the back is like, he shouldn't even be here, let alone in the ring risking somebody else's life, limb, and injury.
Was he like Jeff Hardy bad, where he would go out to the ring? Like,
really
Yeah.
fucked up. Like Jeff Hardy bad for sure.
The two worst wrestlers I can remember seeing, like out in the ring, fucked up. One was Jeff Hardy, and the other one was Scott Hall.
Scott Hall, yes.
Yeah, he got bad there.
Scott Hall was bad. Like,
Yes.
I mean, he couldn't even talk.
The other one I remember was Jake the Snake Roberts.
Was really fucked up out there.
Yeah, he was really fucked up out there. This was like in his overweight days.
Yeah.
He could barely like bring the fucking snake out to the ring. And he stops wrestling to just kind of like talk shit and like, and he's cursing out the whole crowd and he's spitting on them and shit. It was fucking, I'm like, damn.
Well, the one match, it wasn't in the WWE. It was in a different company, but like Jeff Hardy came out and he was so fucked up that like Sting wouldn't wrestle him.
Yeah.
Sting took the microphone, shamed him in front of the whole crowd, and then walked out.
Fucking right.
Like and after that they cut ties with Jeff. They were
Fucking
like,
right.
I want to say
because he
later
needed
on,
help. The dude needed help.
And
Like,
Sting is a mogul.
Yes.
So like it's like the Undertaker. If Sting calls you out like, fuck you, I'm not wrestling with you.
yeah. Well, you're gonna put my
You're
life.
fucked up.
You're gonna put my life in danger.
Yes.
Like, am I gonna let you pick me up in the air and supposed to control me in some of these moves that could kill me?
Yeah.
If you're fucked up.
and Jeff
Hell
Hardy's
no.
tool belt of moves are very high danger.
He has to jump very high and land on you.
Yeah.
And if he fucks that up,
Yep.
his elbow could land somewhere that
Yep.
not good for you.
On some real shit, have you ever had to be in a situation where you worked with someone where you had to tell them, I can't work with you?
Oh my God. I won't say his name, but I used to work for a coal plant, right? And when I worked for a coal plant up in Pennsylvania, we had a crane operator that would come into work drunk.
Oof.
And I mean, like, you could see
Not the crane guy. That's
No,
that.
no,
You can take out swaths of people.
you could see the cans of Natty Ice leading into the power plant where he was throwing them out
Bro,
of his fucking
why
truck.
is it always Natty Ice?
It was so bad.
Always.
It's like just when natural beer isn't strong enough, I have to get
yes.
Natty Ice.
I
Yeah.
used to work with a guy at the fucking
Natty Ice. We
right?
can't say their name. Good job.
Yeah, I can, you can block. So
That was a guy from there. I'll block his name also.
Okay.
yes, yeah. No. Fuck. Fuck. You got a lot of beeping to do. We'll give Eddie a little work.
Yeah,
We'll give Eddie a little work.
thanks.
Well,
So,
my stories from them as well. So go ahead.
yeah. So the Natty Ice he would have tools in his toolbox. He would have 2 6-packs in this handheld toolbox. So every morning I have to work with this guy. I'd go into his toolbox, I'd open it, throw out his Natty Ice. He'd be really mad at me. I'm like, fuck you. We're working on extension ladders to do screen enclosures, right? This is when we first moved to Florida. I'm like, you need to be able to be up there, second story on a ladder and work. I'm not going to be responsible for you or you injuring me, as a matter of fact. So we would go. First place I would have to stop is gas station, get him coffee, drink the coffee. He smelled like alcohol. When he sweat, he permanently reeked of fucking alcohol. And to top it off, he looked like Magnum PI. He had the little baby shorts. He had the white man fro. Like, you know what I mean? Like the 60s basketball players.
Got a DUI riding a bicycle.
DUI riding a bike, DUI in a car, DUI on a golf cart.
Just winning.
He had,
winning at life.
he was the king. When they saw him, they already had the paperwork filled out.
The thing about where I worked is it was a union, so you couldn't even rat people out. If you rat people out, you would lose your job.
Right.
So I had to let he who shall not be named drink,
Yes.
and then fucking just operate the crane.
Yep.
Fuck,
and
man.
you would see the crane because the crane, it's a fucking crane.
Yes.
So you can see it anywhere in the power plant, and you would see it would have a beam, and I mean like a beam like from here to the far wall.
Yes.
Solid steel, and it's being held and carried over the plant. And they'd be like, Ian, why are you taking the long way around? Why aren't you driving through the plant? I'm like, you know who's on the crane today? I was like, fuck no. I'm not going underneath a 16-ton steel beam.
If you-
I don't blame
that
you.
could be dropped.
I don't blame
If you guys don't want me to say what's the problem with him, I'm taking the long walk when you put him on the crane.
Oh, you will pay for me to take the long, slow drive out past the train tracks, around the whole plant. I'll see you in 25 minutes.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm not going there because I'm not dying.
Yes.
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
No, I don't blame you. I
No,
don't blame
we
you.
had he was the welder building all the shelves.
Yes.
So on the
You
day,
mean the things that hang over your head?
Right.
yeah. So he's building metal shelves that were holding all the aluminum that were going to be used to build all of the shutters. So you're talking thousands of pounds of metal are loaded on this thing, and it's over your head all day long because you're working the saw down below it. So the day he came to my shop, I grabbed his little bottle of water, which was just straight vodka, and I hit it until he was done with working on my bay.
Yeah.
And he was shaking by the time.
They sweat. They're angry.
At a certain point, I'm like, I have to give this back to him or take him to the hospital.
Yeah.
He drinks so much that 4 hours without his water bottle, and he's violently shaking.
Yeah. It's fucking wild. Like Magnum PI, we'll call him. The one time I took his shit away, and during lunch, I went inside the house to use the bathroom. The people were nice enough to let me use their bathroom. I come out and he's gone. I'm like, where the fuck is Magnum PI? He ran to the closest gas station to drink as much natty ice as he possibly can in 30 minutes to run back. He came back like, ooh, I'm like, sit in the fucking truck. All right. So then at the end of the day, we're packing up. I'm like, go grab some of the shit. He already kind of slept it off a bit. And this was like one of these trailer homes communities.
Was this the guy you tried to start the podcast with?
Yes. Yeah, his name is Ian. So, so I'm in the car, and he's going to get in the passenger side of the car, and I'm pissed off at him. So I did one of those, like, I took off, and then like the door slammed, and he's like, "Come on, man, let me get in the car." He goes to grab the car door. He opens it again. I take off a little more. I did it like 15 times, right? I didn't think anybody saw me. I was just punishing this man all the way to like the front gate. I'm like, you fucking asshole. You got drunk. I had to do the goddamn job by myself. You know, another 10 feet, another 15 feet. The next day I come back to work, and the old man, the guy who was nice enough to let me use the bathroom, he's like, "I saw what you did to that man." It was fucking hilarious. He's like, "Why'd you do that?" And then I explained to him, all right? And he's like, "I didn't want to look like a dick." He's like, "No, I would have done that. I would have left him here. I would have made him walk back to the shop." I was like, "See?
There you go.
Validated."
Yep.
Yes, as you should have.
Yeah. No, I've seen some crazy shit. Even when I worked as a carpenter's apprentice in New York, like we would take lunch breaks in these shanties. And I'm talking about like welders on scaffolding, 30 stories in the air, crane operators, carpenters working heavy machinery, cutting lumber all day long, just absolutely getting wrecked at lunch, drinking as much as they can, doing coke, smoking weed, like fucking anything that they can get their hands on.
Reminds me of the power
and then
plant.
work.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was wild to me, and I'm like a young, doughy-eyed, like fresh out of the service, like, "Hey, you guys, you shouldn't be doing that. That's wrong."
I would do crazy shit on the weekends. Like on the weekends, I would steal like the gator from the out back of the warehouse, and I would drive it out the gate on my lunch break. I would drive out, and I would go out onto the road to the right. You're not supposed to go right. Because right goes up to the town of York Haven. Left goes back down towards the power plant and other buildings. No, I'd make it right.
Right it is.
So I'm going out, and I would see people in the work truck coming in. They'd be like, "What the fuck?" And I'd beep beep and wave at them. They're like, "What the fuck? Where the fuck's Ian going in the golf cart?" I'm in the union. They couldn't fire me. So I would drive up, go the whole way up into town. I would park this fucking gator behind this bar. What the hell was it fucking called? I forget the fucking name of this place. I'll think of it. But anyway, I would go in. They had great fucking wings, and I would sit there and I would talk to the bartender, Sabrina, and I would sit there and she would give me a Yingling and fucking wings, and I would eat it on my break. And I remember the one day a fucking manager came in on his lunch break, and we were looking at each other. Neither of us were talking because we're both breaking the fucking rules. We were just looking at each other. I was like, "All right, man." Like,
Okay.
balls, and I like lifted my beer. He lifted his beer, and we were like, "All right."
Don't make direct eye contact. We're not actually here.
Well, we looked at each other like,
Yeah.
"You don't say shit. I don't say shit."
Yeah, we good, right?
You know? I was like, "You drove your fucking car here. I took a golf cart." You know? And then I drove back. You know, it was the best.
Well,
oh my god, it was the best.
One of our friends, I won't say his.
Cadillacs. That was with a K.
Cadillacs.
That was the fucking name of that place. What a shithole.
Oh,
my
yeah,
God.
they usually are. I had a friend. I won't say his name because we're on that not ratting people out shit. Boo. But he used to work for an AC company at this place that I worked for a while on the island, and he was a good friend of mine. And then he worked for the AC company. He was a great tech. He did a lot of good shit. And then one day I'm like, "Hey, can you send my tech? Where is so-and-so at?" And they're like, "Oh, no, we fired him." I'm like, "Why?" They're like, "We don't want to talk about it." So I called him at his personal number. I'm like, "What happened?" He's like, "They fired me for eating lunch." I'm like, "Are you driving too far? Where are you going?" He would go to Rachel's every day to eat lunch. And his excuse was the steak was really good and cheap.
To be fair.
So
cheap. I don't know if it's
yeah.
good.
It's like they have radar checking or GPS checking where your van is going all the time, and somebody just said like they had the wherewithal to be like, yo, he's going to the strip club to eat lunch every day. Like, why is he broke? We don't know. We can't figure it out.
Yeah.
Why is he always asking for more money? We don't know. Can't quite figure it out.
He's mushing them dollar bills. Hey, man.
He's like, I keep the AC on in this place, don't I?
Yeah.
Huh?
Is the AC working? Fuck you.
Yeah.
It's America.
And on that note, thank you for joining us at the Sofa Kingdom podcast.
That was a Christmas episode?
Merry fucking Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
This comes
I guess
out
we
Christmas
touched on
Day.
a little bit of Christmas.
We did. We talked on a little bit of
A lot of pro wrestling, strip clubs,
alcoholism.
cartoons,
Yes.
sex trafficking.
But we did talk about our favorite holiday thing that we like to do. When to put up a Christmas tree. That counts.
Yeah, it does.
That counts.
It does.
Christmas.
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of like Die Hard's a Christmas movie. This is a Christmas episode.
You know, every year I've made it my business. I stopped watching Die Hard. I've seen it far too many times.
Yep.
Yeah.
My new one is Hawkeye.
I had a patient the other day whose name may or may not have been Bruce Willis's name in Die Hard. I didn't violate hit by die. You figure it out.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I did not make jokes. I figured he got it as whole.
Yeah, he knew. Hans Gruber?
That was not his name.